Welcome to this flow that focuses on getting you into side plank with removing some of the wrist load. And it's also just a fun way to switch up your vinyasa. You're going to get a lot of core strength, shoulder mobility, and hip mobility and strength. And let's begin sitting comfortably, taking 3 deep inhales, and then we'll get moving. Taking a deep inhale through your nose, sighing it out your mouth. 2 more rounds, just feeling yourself arrive in your body. The power of that gentle sound out your mouth helps ground you in your body and stimulate your vagus nerve. Last breath. Beginning your ujjayi breath now in through your nose and out through your nose. Side body stretch. Taking that left hand up and over and breathing into those side intercostal muscles between the ribs. Turn your heart a little bit to the ceiling. Maybe scratch your nose. Turn your heart a little bit to the ground. And coming across to the other side. Turning your heart to the ceiling. If it feels okay, turning your heart to the ground. Anything that doesn't feel okay or safe for you, you are going to skip it. You're always going to make choices for your own body. Letting your head rest to one shoulder. Keeping your back straight. And that's especially online when you're not in the actual presence of an instructor. But always listening to your own body. Face the ground. Face the ceiling. And taking your head up and over to the other shoulder as we're doing a lot of shoulder work today. We just want to stretch that neck and that trapezius. Face the ground. Gently face the ceiling. Maybe even close your mouth and stick your chin up. Stretches those muscles at the front of your neck. Bringing your head through center. Making your way into table pose now. We're going to do abbreviation on cat and cow. So you're going to take your belly up and hunch, dropping your head, dropping your tailbone. And then come into a neutral spine. Take your right arm forward, palm faces in, lift the opposite leg. And then you're going to hunch again, bringing the elbow and the knee into touch. Exhale. Inhale, take them out. 2 more times. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Last time. Straighten that out, bring it down. Left hand comes forward, palm faces in, lift the opposite leg. So start with that hunch and then come into the neutral. Exhale, hunch. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, hunch. Inhale, reach. Last time, exhale, hunch. Inhale, reach. Bring it back down. Beautiful. A couple of rounds of cat and cow. Drop the belly, lift the head. Take a slow inhale. Exhale, drop the head and lift the belly. Lift the heart. Open up those shoulders. Inhale, drop the heart. Lift the head. Exhale, drop the head. Lift the heart. Lift the belly. One more round. Making your way into downward dog now. Chunging forward into plank. Instead of coming through your normal vinyasa, you're going to take your right forearm to the mat. Come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Choices here. If this is too much, you lower your bottom knee. Okay? And you take the top hand to the ceiling. It's a little more isolated, the work when you're on your forearm, but it just takes the load off your wrists. Okay, take your left forearm down behind your right and come to the other side, lifting the right hand high to the ceiling. Keep that bottom hip lifting up and engaged. And now as you come down to face the front, take your right elbow in front of your left wrist. Put your right hand on the mat in front of your right elbow. And then turn both hands forward. So you're in a forearm plank, hands are in front of your elbows, core is engaged. Gently lower your belly, tops of your feet on the mat, widen your collarbone, pull your forearms isometrically behind you. Sphinx pose. Lift your elbows for seal, root your tailbone down if this compacts your lower back, or don't do it at all. And then from here, bend your elbows, but hover your elbows just off the ground for abbreviated cobra. Now, keep this, your elbows are hovering just off the ground, but pull them isometrically behind and your chest forward, just like you would in normal cobra, but keep your elbows off the ground. Beautiful. Lower your chest, hands either side of your chest, push back, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward into plank. This time, right forearm on the ground, left hand high, side plank. Take the left forearm behind the right, side plank on the other side. Do your adjustments. Coming back into that Sphinx pose, hands in front of the elbows, forearm plank, and then drop your belly, Sphinx, tops of your feet on the mat. Isometrically pull your forearms back, chest wide, lengthen that spine. Lifting the elbows for seal is a choice. Bending the elbows but hovering them. Now, the thing you want to watch out for is internally rotating your shoulders. So do a shoulder roll. Keep your chest wide. Pull your hands behind you isometrically. You should feel this in your back muscles working hard here. Good. Pull your hands back by your chest. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high. Bend the knee. Stack the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah. Step it through, slowly rise, crescent. From here, you're going to turn your back heel in, take that left forearm to the thigh, reach that right hand up toward the sky, extended side angle. Inhale, peaceful warrior, legs stay where they are, reach down that back leg. Exhale, turn both toes to the side wall, fold forward, wide-legged forward fold. Let your head and neck soften. Good. Now from here, walk both hands to your right foot. Keep that left hip lifted so your hips are square. Walk your hands through center into the other foot. Turn your toes to face the front, runner's lunge, step back to plank. This time take your left forearm to the mat. Lift your right hand, side plank, your version, your bottom knee can be on the ground. Take your right forearm behind your left, come onto the other side. That lifted hand comes into that forearm plank position, and then you adjust the other arm. Hold here. Fire in the core. Gently lowering your belly, tops of your feet on the mat, widen your collarbone. Sphinx pose. Hover your elbows, abbreviated cobra. Hands either side of your chest, push back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Other side now, inhale the right leg high, bend the knee, stack the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah. Inhale, step it through and rise, crescent. Turn that back heel in, extended side angle, forearm to thigh, reach the top hand for the ceiling. Reaching back, peaceful warrior, keep your legs as they are. Turn both toes forward. Pull your feet isometrically in, and that stabilizes your pelvic bowl. As you hinge forward, it'll stop the hip popping. And then relax your neck when you're down there. If it feels okay for you, you're going to clasp your hands behind your back, palms face each other, and let them peel off your back and toward the ground, opening up your chest. Gently releasing your hands to the mat, walking them to the front of the mat now, runner's lunge. If your wrists are hurting, come onto your knuckles here. Step it back to plank. Take your left forearm down, lift the right side plank variation. Take the right forearm behind the left, switch sides. Taking that left forearm into that forearm plank position, adjust the other arm, hold here. Firing up that core. Gently lower the belly, sphinx pose. Deep inhale as you widen that chest. Exhale, seal is a choice. Inhale, hover the elbows, abbreviated cobra, pull your hands back and your chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're adding on now, this is a progressive flow. Inhale the right leg high, bend the knees, stack the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah. Inhale, step it through and rise, crescent. Exhale, extended side angle, your version if you want to do a different version. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Straight into half moon this time. I really like to use a block for half moon just for better alignment. Unless you have long arms, a block is a great idea. Drive through that heel of that lifted foot. Try to keep it in line with your hips. Peeling that top hip behind you. Tuck that bottom hip under. So you're stacking your hips and stacking your shoulders as if you're practicing between two planes of glass. Option to bend the knee, grab that foot for sugar cane. Okay, so now from here we're going to move into standing one-legged mountain. So release your foot if you're in sugar cane, and you're going to take that left knee and gently hold it up. You can absolutely rest that toe on the ground if you want. Your mudra can be low and wide or high and wide. And from here you're going to externally rotate that left hip and coming into tree. And this is where all our safety cueing comes in. So you want to push through the ball of the big toe on the right foot on the standing leg. And then you want to hug that right glute in, that right hip. So that trunk leg is so strong, that branch of that bent knee is not pushing your leg out of line. So you're pulling into the midline. And that strength as you're rooting down through the toe allows you to rise up through your Mula Bandha and your Uddiyana Bandha, so pelvic floor, abdominal lock, in and up. And then that's where your stability comes in, and this cueing is important for your peak pose. So remember how this feels. Beautiful. Take that lifted foot and stretch it back as far as you can. Reverse Trikonasana. Land the toe first, then the heel.
When that back foot is on, then you turn the front toes to the front and then you reach down that back leg. Beautiful. And now from here, you windmill your hands down, left hand to the mat inside of your front foot. Take that foot under your face, step it back, side plank, this time on your hands. Beautiful. Now, just as we cued in that tree pose, you have the choice to move into tree variation here. So you're going to bend that top knee if it feels okay for you. Squeeze that bottom hip, engage through the ball of the big toe, just as we did in that standing tree. It's the same thing. And you can play with, if you're in tree variation, keeping that hip externally rotated as you come into plank. It gets a lot harder to hold that external variation. Okay, and then you step it back. Fantastic. Take the right forearm to the ground, lift the left hand, side plank. Switching sides. Coming into your forearm plank. Inhale, sphinx. Exhale, seal. Inhale, cobra variation. This time, lower your forearms. From here, either dolphin, stepping your feet forward into that downward dog position with your forearms on the mat. If this doesn't work for you, you're going to come into seal, hips over the knees, arms straight. So either version, we're all going to end up in puppy anyway. You're just stretching your shoulders here. It can feel really tight on your shoulders, this pose. You want to push through your hands, gently inviting your chest towards your legs. Your knees can absolutely be bent here. Everyone lower your knees, straighten your arms, puppy. Forehead on the mat, on a block is a fantastic choice. The full expression is chin and chest, but I'm going to level with you. It's super uncomfortable because you're kind of squishing everything. This is a posture pose, so this is to counter sitting and tech neck and looking down. So this is all about getting an arch from your tailbone to the base of your skull. Bringing your hands back under your shoulders, finding your downward dog again. We're going to do the left side now. Take a few breaths in your downward dog. We're going to do the left side now. Inhale the left leg high, bend the knee, stack the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah. Inhale, step it through and rise, crescent. Exhale, extended side angle, forearm to thigh, or your version. One breath only. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, half moon. You turn your foot in a little, internally rotating just a smidgen for half moon. So your foot will likely be turned in, but your hand will remain in front of the hip and in front of the foot. Drive through that lifted heel and stretch out in all directions. And from here, if you want to come into sugarcane, you can bend the knee, grab the foot behind your hip, but keep pulling that top hip behind you. And from here, you're going to come into tree. And you can come through one-legged mountain, or you can come straight into tree. And remembering, this is where all those cues come in. So you're squeezing the glute on your standing leg. You're lifting those thigh muscles and you're rooting through the ball of the big toe. And embrace the wobbles, right? It's not about not wobbling. We do these balance poses so when we fall or when we stumble, we learn to recover quickly. So it's about recovering versus not wobbling at all. And that is how we build safety and fall prevention. Clear the mind. And as we come into that reverse trikonasana, you step back as far as you can. Land the toe first, then the heel, then turn your front foot forward. And then reaching down that back leg. On your inhale, exhale, windmill the hands down, that front hand inside of your front foot. That front foot is going to lift back now for your side plank, your peak pose. So you can stay in this side plank. I'm on a wrist right now because my thumb is giving me trouble, but it's harder to balance. So if you need to have your hand flat, you can do that. And then from there you have the choice to take that top leg into that tree pose, so that external hip rotation. Remember all the cues we just talked about in your standing tree, they're the same here. So you're squeezing that standing hip in. And you can play with keeping that hip in that external rotation as long as you don't have a hip injury, because it is harder to do underweight. And then stretch it out. Beautiful. Lower your knees this time. Sit back, child's pose. You want to hear your exhale. It should be a nice ocean breath. Gently coming into a forward fold now. So you're going to externally rotate the left leg in the same way we've been doing through tree and for your side plank. And your right leg is straight. And then you want to hinge your hips forward. So don't try to take your chest down because that takes your pelvis out of alignment. Think about taking your tailbone behind you and then folding forward. If you have a block and you want it to go deeper, you can put it behind your foot and then you're softening down. And the benefit of having your arms overhead is then you're stretching all those side core muscles that you've been using in the shoulders, so that latissimus dorsi. And you're getting a nice stretch now that we're coming to the winding down portion of your practice. And slowly coming up and switching legs. Doing these asymmetric poses, one-legged folds as opposed to both legs, helps even out any compensations when you have a stronger side or a more flexible side. Doing this helps identify and even you out. So notice if one side is tighter, and then you would spend a little more time on that tighter side. So if this side is tighter, you could stay there for longer. Otherwise, you can straighten both legs and fold forward. And we're going to finish our practice with either reclined figure four or pigeon. So reclined figure four, you're lying down on your back, your left ankle is in front of your right knee and you're clasping behind your right thigh. Alternatively, if pigeon is your preference, you want to make sure your knee is on the edge of your mat. So the thing I see people do is they have their knee under their torso, and that's not safe. So if you have your knee on the edge of your mat, and then your hips are in the center of your mat. So if you look down, that knee is not under your torso. And if your hips are high, it can be kind of awkward. So that's where you would take your block and you would put it under your bent knee leg, which in this case is your right hip. So you would put that block under your right hip. And then with your hips being square, you soften down. And just another safety note in pigeon, your foot is going to be either under that left hip or forward more. So if you're super flexible, the more the foot is forward and your shin is square with that front edge of the mat, the harder it is. So to make it more gentle on your knee and your hip, you bring that foot back so it's underneath that opposite hip. And if pigeon hurts your knee or your hip, then you should do recline figure 4. That is a safer pose for most bodies. Pigeon is really only for really flexible hips and glutes. Okay, so from here, whichever one you chose, you're going to switch sides in a way that works for you. Again, if you're in pigeon, that knee comes to the edge of the mat, but your hips are not there. Your hips are square, and then you soften down. And so wherever you are, can you take a deep inhale through your nose? And as you exhale slowly out your mouth, can you feel your shoulders relax, letting go? Having that intention to release tension. If you're in recline figure 4, stay there. If you're in pigeon, you're going to gently make your way onto your back now. And then pull your knees into your chest. And just gently rock side to side. Maybe straighten one leg and then the other and do some ankle circles gently. We're going to do that external rotation to finish that we did in tree and in your peak plank pose. Soles of your feet together, hips out to the side. Soften your shoulders, so roll your shoulders down your back, your palms will face up, chest is wide. If this hurts your lower back, you can rest your feet on a block to take the pressure off your lower back, or you could put your feet up against a wall and do it that way, or you could simply hold your feet. And we're going to end in this pose. Letting your breath lengthen gently. Releasing any tension. Feel ground under your hips and your shoulders, reliably holding you. And let go into that, into the ground. And there's this sense of trusting that happens when you let go. So
You know the ground is holding you. Let go a little bit. The body is relaxed and you are supported. From here, roll onto your right side. You might have to help that left leg in a little bit. And then just gently lie here in this fetal position. In this position of concaving the torso a little bit is that position of newborns, of comfort, of being swaddled and cuddled, and we kind of curl in. So just allow that position to give you comfort. And you can stay here, of course, if you want. The practice is complete now. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you got frustrated with yourself that you couldn't do the tree variation, come back to this. This is a progressive flow, and it's designed specifically to help you build and strengthen in all the areas you need to get that pose. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.